Okay, we're all cleaned up here a little bit. Everything that has an X on it is going to be removed. I have it marked out where the instructions for the 10-degree mount say we're going to cut. So we're going to cut these spots out. And then we're going to end up completing the weld around these tubes when we're all done. These are going to get notched out and plated. We're cutting out the tranny mount. And then, yeah, so these are from this point here, from the torsion tube to this first mark is 4 inches. And this distance is 4 inches. So this first cutout. And then you come from here to this, that's 12.5. And then you do another 4.5 section, 4.5 inches here. And then this piece will come out. So this will get re-gusseted, supported. And then these will be completely gone throughout. And we'll get to that next. We're going to remove these too, so you won't see those either. So you can see here I've got everything that needs to be cut out of it, and then I got the arms cleaned up, ready for things to be welded back into it. So we got this piece notched out. And here's the areas that have been notched out back there as well. And then what we're going to do before we finish up completely is this is going to get boxed in, and then we're going to run a nice weld just all along this seam, all the way up, as far as it can, just this side, in and outside, inside and outside. Just strengthen those spot welds in there now, but we're going to just lock that all in. I opened this up just because I seen another gentleman on YouTube had it cut out. Need a little bit more access to when we get the tranny in there, a little bit more wiggle room. I haven't figured out what the instructions were talking about with breaking the welds loose on this and then pulling it out, but I have a hydraulic clutch anyway, so I guess when I kind of sit in here, I'm going to find out if I even need that or do I have to do anything with it. And then you got to notch this part out a little bit so that after you get that front nose cone piece up here, you got access to weld along the back side of it. I just want to show everybody here, this is the shifting coupler that I got hooked up to the 6-rib right now, which doesn't work. It's too tight of a bind, and that's where I was told about the box shifting coupler, which you'll see on here shortly. So we've got our notches welded in, seam welds welded in. I didn't do all of them, but I ran all the way down the inside, all the way up the insides. And then halfway down the outsides, as far as I can go. Bunch of bubble gum welds, but they'll hold. Bracket pieces in. The trick to that was found something about 1/2 inch to sit underneath the nose cone of the transaxle, and that holds it right about center where you want. And then don't hook up the shifter or nothing. Tack weld the front mount in, and then get it bolted up. You get it all bolted up, tack weld that in, tack weld these on, get everything lined up, bolted in, and that's pretty simple. That part of it's pretty easy. It's just the tedious boxing this in. A horrible welder I am, and getting everything to fit, but that wasn't too bad. On to the next. Okay, we're wrapping this part up. So this has been about installing a 6-rib bus kit into a Baja bug. So here's your forward transmission mount. This mount right here gets put on. You take the bell housing off. You slip this adapter piece on through the back side. It slides right on. Holes all line up. You drill and tap, or drill these holes out for the bolts. Make sure you put washers on the inside. And that's all there is to do for that kit. It's a really easy kit to put on. What I had to find out was the shift linkage won't match up to this transmission from your Type 1 setup. So if you have a round shift coupler, that's not going to work. You have to go to a box style shift coupler. It's square. You can get that from Pacific Customs, and it comes with this piece right here, which also has a bushing or a weldin bung. It'll be threaded on here, so you just unthread it, and you'll have to cut your shift rod back. I started out with just cutting the shift rod back this much. It wasn't enough. I had to go back another at least a ½ inch, cut that off, and then weld the bung in, and then I was able to turn and adjust this in to get it right where I wanted. It is a jam nut style setup, so I'm probably going to red Loctite the heck out of this. Jam nut it real tight, and then it should stay. And then that's all lined up. So then we're going to finish up this video with, I got everything I did in primer. So we have this done. Let's turn on the torch. The notches are notched out and primered. This is one of the pieces you weld on for the adapter kit. And like I said before, you got to notch out these spots here and weld on the forward trans mount. And it's all pretty easy. Square it up with a hole. Put a little spacer in here just to kind of keep your the shift rod not in the middle, and it all goes pretty easy. I cleaned up the welds a little bit, threw it in primer, and we'll do the finish coat later. So that wraps up. If there's any questions, go ahead and comment below or leave me a message. Thanks.